Kelechi Obiora was not the kind of man people ignored. He was young, handsome, and dangerously calm. At 32, he already carried himself like a man who had seen too much and survived all of it. He had a sharp face, dark, steady eyes, and the kind of silence that made strong men choose their words carefully. He was rich in a way that frightened people. The Obiora family owned oil companies, real estate, hotels, hospitals, and a large telecom business. On paper, everything looked clean. The family name appeared in newspapers, business magazines, and charity events. They donated to schools. They built hospital wings. They smiled beside governors and commissioners. But everyone knew the truth. The Obiora family had not risen with clean hands. Behind the offices and luxury buildings there were secret deals, illegal weapons, underground businesses, and old blood that nobody liked to talk about in public.
The deals are in these files. No one can know. I understand. But the weapons in the cases, they stay hidden. For the old man's legacy. His shadow is everywhere.
Kelechi's late father, Chief Augustine Obiora, had built the empire through fear. Men obeyed him because refusing him could cost them everything. Now Chief Augustine was dead, and Kelechi was the new head of the family. That evening, he sat at the end of a long table inside the Obiora mansion, facing the men who had served his father for years. The room was quiet, but the silence was not peaceful. Chief Arinze, one of his father's oldest partners, leaned back in his chair and watched Kelechi with a small smile. He was an old man with white hair, a heavy gold ring, and eyes that still carried pride. Beside him sat Mr. Danladi, a businessman who spoke softly but moved money for dangerous people. Another man, Ojukwu, sat with his arms crossed. He had once controlled some of the family's illegal routes. They were not there to advise Kelechi. They were there to test him. Kelechi placed both hands on the table.
My father is gone. I'm in charge of the Obiora family now. From today, everything changes.
Chief Arinze chuckled. Nobody else laughed. Kelechi looked at him.
Is something funny?
Chief Arinze shook his head slowly.
You are young, that is the problem. You think power is something you can wash in like a new shirt.
Kelechi's face did not change. Chief Arinze leaned forward.
Your father did not build this empire with prayers and handshakes. He built it with blood. He built it by making men afraid. Now you want to sit here and tell us the Obiora family will only do clean business? That is exactly what I am saying.
Mr. Danladi sighed.
The oil contracts, the ports, the security routes, the private deals, all of them are connected. You cannot cut once and expect the rest to stand. I can. And I will.
Ojukwu laughed under his breath.
Your father would be ashamed.
For the first time, something cold passed through Kelechi's eyes.
My father's time is over.
The room became even quieter. Chief Arinze's smile disappeared.
You speak as if the dead cannot still hold the living. Your father made promises, he made debts. If you think you can wake up one morning and turn criminals into church members, then you are more foolish than I thought.
Kelechi rose slowly from his chair.
That is the mistake all of you keep making. You think because my father used fear, I must use fear the same way. You think because he chose blood, I must continue with blood. No.
He looked from one man to another.
From today, the Obiora family will run legal business only. Anyone who cannot accept that can leave now.
Nobody moved, but their faces had changed. Chief Arinze stood up, adjusting his jacket.
Clean clothes cannot hide dirty hands.
Then maybe it is time to stop making them dirty.
Chief Arinze stared at him for a long moment. Then he smiled again, but this time there was no warmth in it.
You are your father's son, but you are not your father.
He turned and walked out with the other men. Kelechi remained standing until the door closed. Only then did Blade step forward. Blade was Kelechi's most trusted man. He was quiet, loyal, and always watchful. He had worked for the Obiora family for years, but his loyalty now belonged to Kelechi alone.
You should not have spoken to them like that.
Kelechi turned to him.
You think I should have begged?
No. But men like that do not forgive embarrassment.
Kelechi picked up his phone from the table.
They don't need to forgive me.
Blade's face stayed serious.
They may strike first.
Kelechi walked toward the door.
Then let them try.
Blade followed him, but there was worry in his eyes. Kelechi did not show fear. He had learned long ago that fear was dangerous in his world. Once men saw it, they would feed on it. Still, as he left the mansion that night, he knew something had shifted. His father's old circle had listened to him, but they had not accepted him. And men who felt pushed out of power never stayed quiet for long. By the time Kelechi's convoy drove out of the mansion gate, the sky was already dark. 2 black SUVs followed his car. Blade sat in front beside the driver while Kelechi sat alone at the back, looking out through the tinted window. He looked calm, but his mind was moving. Cleaning the Obiora name would not be easy. He knew that. Too many people had grown rich from the dirty side of the family business. Too many men had buried secrets under his father's protection. If he stopped the old ways, some of those men would lose money, others would lose power, and some would lose both. Blade's phone rang. He answered, listened for a few seconds, then his face hardened.
Boss.
Kelechi looked at him. Before Blade could speak again, the first gunshot came. The window beside the driver cracked. The car swerved. "Get down," Blade shouted. More gunshots followed. A white van blocked the road ahead. 2 men stepped out with guns. Another car rushed from behind, trapping the convoy. The driver tried to reverse, but the second SUV crashed into them from the side. Metal screamed. Glass shattered. Kelechi's body hit the door hard, but he stayed conscious. Blade pulled out his gun.
Cover the boss! Move now! I said move now!
Kelechi pushed himself up just as another bullet tore through the car. Pain exploded near his side. He looked down. Blood was spreading across his white shirt. Blade saw it.
Boss, I'm fine.
Kelechi said through his teeth.
You are bleeding. Shoot first, worry later.
Blade fired through the broken window. Kelechi's men returned fire from the other vehicles. The road became chaotic. Gunshots, screaming tires, smoke, men shouting orders. One of the attackers threw something toward the lead SUV.
Move!
Blade shouted. The explosion was not large, but it was enough to send fire up from the front car. Kelechi's driver slumped over the wheel. Blade grabbed Kelechi and pulled him out through the other side.
Stay low.
Kelechi tried to walk, but his legs weakened. Blood dripped onto the road. The rival men kept shooting. Blade fired back with one hand while dragging Kelechi with the other. They ran through the darkness, leaving the main road and cutting through a narrow path behind some closed shops. Kelechi stumbled once. Blade caught him.
Boss, we need to get you to our doctor. No hospital.
Kelechi said.
I did not say hospital.
Kelechi pressed his hand against his wound. His breathing was becoming rough. The world around him blurred for a moment. Blade looked behind them. Some of the attackers were still coming.
This way.
They reached a smaller road. Blade tried to call for another car, but the network failed for a few seconds. He cursed under his breath. Kelechi leaned against a wall, his face pale now.
Go,
he said. Blade looked at him as if he had not heard well.
What? Draw them away. No! I cannot just leave you here like this. That is an order. Blade's jaw tightened.
Blade's jaw tightened.
If they find both of us here, we both die. Go, bring the car back.
Blade hesitated only one more second. Then he nodded.
Stay alive.
Kelechi gave a faint smile.
That is usually the plan.
Blade ran into the darkness, firing once to pull attention away from Kelechi. Kelechi pushed himself off the wall and forced his body forward. Each step hurt. His shirt was soaked with blood now. His breathing became heavier. He knew the bullet had not killed him, but he also knew pride could not stop bleeding. He crossed the road without seeing clearly. A car horn screamed. The vehicle stopped sharply just a few feet from him. Kelechi fell against the bonnet, then dropped to one knee. Inside the car, Zikora Okori froze. Zikora was a young nurse in her mid-20s, beautiful in a soft and natural way. She had clear brown skin, calm dark eyes, and a face that carried kindness even when she was tired. She was not from a rich family, but she had dignity. People at the hospital liked her because she was patient with the sick and respectful to the old. That morning, like every other workday, she had woken up early. Her mother, Mrs. Rose O'Corey, had been in the kitchen, worrying as usual. Mrs. Rose was gentle, but fear lived close to her heart. She worried about late nights, strange cars, sickness, bad roads, and anything that could take another child from her. Inspector Daniel O'Corey, Zikora's father, had been sitting in the parlor in his clean police uniform. He was a strict man, but not a cruel one. He loved his family deeply. He just did not always know how to say it softly. When Zikora came out dressed for work, carrying her small handbag, her father stood.
I will drive you.
Zikora smiled.
Daddy, the hospital is not far.
That is not what I asked.
I know, but I can't go by myself.
Mrs. Rose came out from the kitchen.
Let your father take you. You know he will not rest.
Zikora walked to her mother and kissed her cheek.
If I allow him to take me every day, he will soon follow me inside the ward and start questioning patients.
Mrs. Rose laughed softly. Inspector Daniel tried to look serious, but his mouth almost betrayed him.
You think you are grown now.
I am grown.
To me, you are still the small girl who used to cry when I left for night duty.
Her smile faded a little, but only for a moment. They all knew why her father was protective. John, Zikora's older brother. He had died years ago during a violent shooting between dangerous men. He had not been part of their fight. He had only been in the wrong place at the wrong time. Since then, the O'Corey family had never been the same. Inspector Daniel became stricter. Mrs. Rose became more fearful. And Zikora became more determined to save lives, as if saving strangers could somehow answer the pain of losing her brother.
I will be careful.
Her father studied her face for a moment, then nodded.
Call me when you get there.
I will.
Now she sat in her car, staring at the wounded man in front of her. For 1 second, she could not move. Then fear rushed through her. She looked around the dark road. It could be a trap. Criminals sometimes used fake accidents to stop people. Her father had warned her about it many times. She locked the door quickly. The man outside lifted his head. Even wounded, he looked dangerous. His eyes were sharp. His face was pale but proud. Blood ran down one side of his shirt. Zikora's hand shook as she reached for her phone. The man saw it. "Don't call anyone," he said, his voice low.
That made her
That
angry.
made her angry.
You almost went under my car, and you are giving me orders.
He tried to stand, but pain pulled him back down.
Drive away.
Zikora stared at him. Then she saw the blood spreading faster. Her fear battled with her training. She was a nurse. A wounded man was in front of her. That was the part she could not ignore. She opened the door slowly and stepped out.
Don't touch me.
Kelechi warned. Zikora looked at him in disbelief.
You are bleeding on the road and still forming strong man.
I said don't touch me.
And I heard you, but I took an oath to save lives, even when the patient is rude.
For a moment, Kelechi only stared at her. Zikora moved closer and checked the wound with careful hands. He flinched, but did not push her away this time.
You need a hospital.
No hospital.
You don't get to decide that.
I said no hospital.
Zikora looked at him properly now. The expensive watch, the fine shoes, the blood-soaked shirt, the way he spoke like a man used to being obeyed.
Who are you?
Nobody you need to know.
That is not comforting.
He breathed through the pain.
If you take me to a hospital, people will ask questions. If people ask questions, more people may die.
Zikora's heart tightened. She looked around again. Far away, she heard something that sounded like another gunshot. Her body went cold. This man was not just injured. He was being hunted. She should have run. Every sensible part of her told her to enter her car and drive away. But he swayed, and for a second his proud face weakened. Zikora made her choice.
Get in.
Kelechi looked at her.
I said get in before I change my mind.
He tried to move and almost fell. Zikora held him quickly. This time he did not tell her not to touch him. She helped him into the back seat and drove away from the road, her heart beating hard. She did not take him to the hospital. Instead, she stopped near a quiet, unfinished building not far away, where she knew people rarely passed. She took the small emergency kit from her car. It was not enough for a serious wound, but it could slow the bleeding. Kelechi watched her as she worked. Her hands were steady now. She cleaned the blood as much as she could. She pressed cloth against the wound and tied it firmly to control the bleeding.
This is not treatment. This is only to keep you alive until you get real help.
You talk too much.
You bleed too much.
He almost smiled, but the pain stopped him. After a while, the bleeding reduced. Zikora sat back, tired and shaken. Kelechi looked at her face. He was used to people trembling when they stood near him. He was used to fear, respect, greed, and lies. But this woman looked at him as if he was simply a stubborn patient giving her stress. No fear, no worship, no interest in his money. Just concern and irritation mixed together.
Why are you helping me?
He asked quietly. Zikora packed the blood-stained cloth back into the kit.
Because I am a nurse.
That is all?
That is enough.
Kelechi said nothing. For the first time in a long while, he did not know what to say. Zikora stood and wiped her hands with sanitizer.
I don't know what trouble you are inside. And I don't want to know. But if you have people who can help you, call them now.
Kelechi looked at her for a long moment.
What is your name?
Zikora hesitated. She should not tell him. But something in his voice was softer now.
Zikora. Zikora Okori.
Zikora.
He repeated it quietly, as if he wanted to remember it. She did not ask for his name. Maybe that was what stayed with him most. She saved him without knowing who he was. She helped him without wanting anything. And she walked away before the name Obiora could change the way she looked at him. As Zikora drove off toward the hospital, her hands still shaking on the steering wheel, Kelechi watched the car disappear. Blood stained his shirt. Pain burned through his side. His enemies were still out there. But all he could think about was the beautiful nurse who had looked at him like a human being. Not a king, not a monster, and not a man to be feared. For the first time in years, Kelechi Obiora felt something he could not control. And he knew he would find her again. Blade found Kelechi almost 20 minutes later. By then he was sitting against the wall of the unfinished building, his shirt soaked with blood and his face pale. Still, when Blade rushed toward him with two men behind him, Kelechi raised his head like nothing serious had happened. Blade knelt beside him.
Boss, I told you to come back with a car.
Blade looked at the blood on his shirt.
You should be thinking about staying alive first.
Kelechi ignored him.
Did you see her? Who? The woman who saved me.
Blade frowned.
Boss, you are bleeding. Find her.
Blade stared at him for a moment.
You don't even know who she is. Zikora Okore.
Blade became quiet. Kelechi noticed the change in his face.
What?
Blade looked at the men behind him, then back at Kelechi.
Okori? Yes. There is an Inspector Daniel Okori, police officer. His daughter is a nurse. Kelechi's eyes narrowed.
Kelechi's eyes narrowed.
She is his daughter? Yes. And if she is the same Zikora, then this is dangerous. Everything is dangerous. Not like this. Her father hates your family. Everybody in the force knows it. His son died years ago during one of the street shootings linked to our people.
Kelechi's smile disappeared. For a moment, he said nothing. Then he looked away.
Find her address.
Blade looked at him like he wanted to argue, but he already knew it would not work.
Yes.
That same evening, Zikora came home tired and quiet. She had washed her hands many times, but she could still remember the blood. The man's blood, his sharp eyes, his proud voice, the way he had asked her why she helped him, like kindness was something strange. Her mother noticed her mood immediately. Mrs. Rose Okori stood in the kitchen doorway, wiping her hands with a small towel.
Zikora, are you all right?
Zikora forced a small smile.
I'm just tired, Mommy.
Inspector Daniel looked up from the chair where he was reading an old newspaper.
Did anything happen on the road?
Zikora paused.
No, nothing happened.
Her father watched her for a moment. He did not believe her fully, but he let it pass. That was how their home was. Simple, small, full of care. Her father was strict and quiet, but he loved deeply. Her mother worried over everybody, even neighbors who did not ask for her help. They had already buried one child. John Okori had been Zikora's older brother. He was lively, protective, and always laughing before one bullet ended everything. He had died during a shooting between dangerous men, and from that day, the house never sounded the same. Zikora did not want to bring more fear into it, so she kept quiet about the wounded stranger. But the stranger did not stay away. The next afternoon, 2 black SUVs stopped in front of the Okori house. Mrs. Rose was the first to see them through the window.
Daniel, come and see.
Inspector Daniel came out of the bedroom and looked outside. His face hardened immediately. Before he could speak, there was a knock on the door. Zikora came out from her room.
Who is it?
Nobody answered. Her father opened the door himself. Blade stood outside, dressed in black, his face serious. Behind him were 2 men carrying dark suitcases. Kelechi stood beside them, calm and well-dressed, as if he had not almost died the day before. Zikora froze.
You.
Kelechi looked at her. For a brief second, something softened in his eyes. Then it disappeared. Inspector Daniel looked from Zikora to Kelechi.
You know this man?
I helped him yesterday. He was hurt.
Inspector Daniel turned back to Kelechi.
Who are you? This is Mr. Kelechi Obiora.
The name fell into the room like a stone. Mrs. Rose covered her mouth. Inspector Daniel's face changed completely.
Obiora.
Kelechi gave a small nod.
Inspector, you have no right to stand in our house. I came peacefully. Men like you always say that before trouble enters. I came to thank your daughter.
Zikora's heart was beating fast.
You have thanked me. You can go now.
Kelechi looked at her.
I also came for another reason.
Say what you came to say and leave.
Kelechi stood straight.
I have come to marry Zikora.
The room went silent. Even the sound from outside seemed to disappear. Zikora stared at him.
What?
Kelechi repeated calmly.
I want to marry you.
Zikora laughed once, but there was no happiness in it. It was shock.
Are you mad? You met me yesterday.
That was enough.
For what? To lose your senses.
Mrs. Rose whispered.
Jesus.
My daughter will never marry you.
You have not heard what I am offering.
I heard your name. That is enough.
Kelechi gave Blade a small look. Blade signaled the men behind him. They placed the suitcases on the floor and opened them. Bundles of cash filled each one. Mrs. Rose stepped back in fear. Zikora stared at the money, then at Kelechi, unable to believe what she was seeing.
I can change your lives. This is nothing compared to working. Your house can change today. Your family will never lack anything again.
My son died because of men like you. John was innocent. He was not part of your fight. He was not carrying a gun. But he died because families like yours think human life is nothing.
Kelechi's jaw tightened.
I was not the head of the family then.
But you carried a name, and that name has buried people.
Zikora stepped beside her father.
I am already engaged.
Kelechi looked at her left hand, then back at her face.
To who?
Victor Adieni. He is my fiancé.
Kelechi's expression did not change.
Then the engagement can be cancelled.
Zikora stared at him in disbelief.
You speak as if I am a chair you want to move from one room to another.
You saved my life.
That does not mean I gave it to you.
Something moved in Kelechi's eyes, but he stayed calm. Inspector Daniel pointed toward the door.
Take your money and leave my house.
Kelechi looked at the inspector for a long moment, then turned to Zikora.
I will give you 3 days
For what?
to prepare.
Zikora's throat went dry.
I will come back in 3 days to pick up my bride.
Mrs. Rose began to cry quietly. Inspector Daniel moved as if he wanted to attack him, but Zikora held his arm. Kelechi turned and walked out. Blade and the men closed the suitcases and followed him. When the cars drove away, the house remained silent. Then Zikora sat down slowly, as if her legs could no longer carry her. Her mother rushed to her.
My child.
Inspector Daniel stood in the middle of the room, breathing heavily.
We should leave. Daniel, let us go somewhere. Just for now.
No.
Daniel, please.
I said no. This is our house. My daughter will not run from criminal.
Daddy, what if he comes back?
Inspector Daniel looked at her, and his face softened.
Then he will meet me here.
That evening, Victor came. Victor Adeyemi was a young painter with gentle eyes and a hopeful heart. He was not rich, but he carried his dreams like they were already real. He loved Zikora with a soft kind of love, the kind that waited, listened, and believed tomorrow could be better. When he heard what had happened, he could not sit still.
Kelechi Obiora came here.
Zikora nodded.
Victor turned to Inspector Daniel.
So we should report this.
Report Kelechi Obiora to who? Half of them eat from his hand.
Then we marry quickly.
Then we marry quickly.
Victor.
No, listen to me. If we wait, he will come back. If we are already married, he cannot just take you.
Inspector Daniel looked away. He did not like the idea of his daughter marrying under pressure, but he understood the fear behind it. Mrs. Rose wiped her tears.
Is that the answer?
Victor took Zikora's hand.
I love you. I will protect you.
Zikora wanted to believe him. She looked at her parents. Her mother was shaking. Her father was trying to look strong, but his face was tired. Then she looked at Victor.
All right. Let us do it.
Victor released a breath as if he had been holding it for hours.
We will make it small. Just family. No noise.
Zikora nodded. In her heart, she was afraid. But she told herself that once she became Victor's wife, Kelechi's madness would end. She did not know that men like Kelechi did not stop because of a ring. The next day, Kelechi went to the hospital where Zikora worked. The hospital director, Dr. Samuel Briggs, was a middle-aged man who cared about the hospital, but loved rich donors even more. When Kelechi entered with his men, the whole reception became quiet. Dr. Briggs rushed out of his office with a wide smile.
Mr. Obiora, this is a great honor.
Your hospital needs equipment.
Yes, sir. Very badly.
I will donate enough to cover the new emergency ward, new machines, and staff support.
The director almost lost his breath.
Sir, that is extremely generous.
Kelechi looked toward the nurse's station where Zikora stood frozen.
It was my fiancé's idea.
Everyone turned to Zikora. Her heart dropped.
Nurse Zikora, you did not tell us you knew Mr. Obiora.
He is not my fiancé.
Kelechi only smiled faintly. Dr. Briggs did not seem to hear her. The money had already entered his head.
You have done well. Very well. Mr. Obiora, please, anything you need from us.
I need Zikora for the rest of the day.
Zikora stepped back.
No.
Dr. Briggs looked uncomfortable.
Nurse Zikora, please. Mr. Obiora has just done something great for this hospital.
I am on duty.
I will approve your time off.
Sir, you cannot be serious.
Kelechi stepped closer.
Come with me.
No.
The whole ward had gone quiet.
Do not make this harder than it needs to be.
Zikora tried to walk away. Blade moved first. Two of Kelechi's men blocked her path.
Don't touch me.
Blade hesitated for half a second, then obeyed. Zikora struggled as they led her out, but nobody stopped them. Not the director. Not the nurses. Not the security men at the gate. That was when she understood a painful truth. Money could make good people look away. Kelechi took her to the Obiora mansion. It was larger than anything Zikora had ever entered. The gates were high, the compound was wide, the house looked like power built with marble and silence. Kelechi led her through the main hall.
This can be your home.
Zikora folded her arms.
I have a home,
This is bigger.
but mine has peace and comfort.
You can have anything here.
You can have anything here. Cars, staff, protection, money.
And you
income.
want to leave.
He ignored that.
The whole city can open for you if you marry me.
Zikora laughed bitterly.
You really think everything can be bought?
Most things can.
Then I feel sorry for you.
Kelechi's eyes hardened.
Be careful.
No, you be careful. You are rich, yes. You are feared, yes. But inside you are poor, very poor. You think because people obey you, it means they respect you. You think because you can buy things, it means you can have love.
Kelechi stared at her. Zikora's voice shook.
But she did
You
not stop.
never understood love. That is why you think marriage is something you can announce like a business deal.
For a moment, Kelechi looked offended. Then something else entered his face. Interest. No woman had spoken to him like that before, not with fear in her eyes and truth in her mouth at the same time. Before he could answer, a woman's voice came from the staircase.
So this is her?
Zikora turned. Madame Patricia Obiora walked down slowly. She was Kelechi's stepmother, elegant and proud, with eyes that measured people like property. She had married Kelechi's father years before his death, and since then she had enjoyed the Obiora name like it was her own crown. Behind her stood Susan Obiora, Patricia's daughter. Susan was beautiful, polished, and sharp-tongued. She had grown up around wealth and believed it made her better than others. Patricia looked at Zikora from head to toe.
Kelechi, your father wanted to marry a woman from a good family. A woman with class. A woman equal to you.
Kelechi did not look at her.
I have chosen.
Susan's eyes narrowed. Zikora looked between them and understood immediately that she was not welcome.
Good. Since your family agrees with me, I will leave.
Blade will take you home.
Zikora looked surprised.
You are letting me go.
For now.
She hated those two words. After Zikora left, Patricia faced Kelechi.
You cannot be serious.
I am.
She is ordinary.
Do not call her that again.
Susan waited until Kelechi walked away before speaking.
Mommy, this is dangerous.
I know.
He is not your biological son. If he marries that girl and gives her everything, where does that leave us?
Patricia's face tightened.
Find out everything about her.
Susan smiled, but it was not a kind smile.
Gladly.
By the next day, Susan had already gathered information. Zikora Okori, nurse, daughter of Inspector Daniel Okori, from a simple family, engaged to Victor Adeyemi, a struggling painter. Susan was insulted. She threw the file on the table in front of Patricia.
This is the woman Kelechi wants to marry? A nurse from a police family? And she is engaged to a poor painter?
My stepson has always enjoyed doing things to shame me.
Susan shook her head.
No, we cannot allow this.
While the Obiora women planned, Victor was facing his own family. His mother, Mrs. Grace Adeyemi, was a hard-working woman who had suffered enough in life to fear rich and dangerous men. She loved her son, but her love often came out as panic. When Victor told her about the quick wedding, she shouted,
Are you out of your mind?
Mommy, I love her.
Love will not save you from Kelechi Obiora.
I cannot abandon her.
That man can ruin all of us with one phone call.
Then let him try. Zikora needs me.
Grace looked at her son and saw that his mind was made up. Fear entered her heart, not because she hated Zikora, but because she was afraid that loving Zikora would destroy Victor's future. The families agreed to a small private wedding. There would be no big hall, no crowd, no noise, just a simple ceremony with close family. Everything had to happen quickly. Inspector Daniel was not happy. He had imagined walking his daughter down the aisle with joy, not fear sitting beside him like an unwanted
But he
guest.
trusted Victor more than
But
he trusted
Victor
Kelechi.
more than he trusted Kelechi. Victor came to see Zikora the night before the wedding. He held her hands gently.
I know this is not the wedding I promised you. But one day, I will make it up to you.
Zikora looked at him with tired eyes.
I don't care about a big wedding.
I care. I will become a great painter. I will work hard. I will give you a good life.
She smiled faintly.
I believe you.
But deep inside, she was not sure what she believed anymore. Before Victor left, there was another knock at the door. Zikora's heart knew before her eyes saw him. Kelechi stood outside, alone this time. Inspector Daniel moved forward immediately.
You again.
Kelechi looked at Zikora.
I came to speak with her. You have nothing to say to my daughter.
Zikora stepped forward.
Let him talk, then he will leave.
Her father did not like it, but he moved aside. Kelechi stayed near the doorway. His eyes rested on Zikora's face.
I know more about you than you think.
Zikora's body tightened.
I know about your brother.
Her face changed. Inspector Daniel's hand curled into a fist.
Do not mention my son.
Kelechi looked at him briefly, then back at Zikora.
I investigated what happened.
You investigated after he was already dead?
The family has changed since then.
People like you always say that. You change after innocent people have died. You change after mothers have cried. You change when the blood has already dried and nobody can bring the dead back.
Kelechi said nothing.
You have blood on your hands. Maybe not from the gun itself. From the power you enjoy. From the silence you inherited.
Something in his face shifted, but he covered it quickly.
I am not my father.
But you are standing in my house doing the same thing he would have done. Taking what you want.
Kelechi looked at her for a long moment. Then he said quietly,
3 days, Zikora.
I am getting married.
His gaze moved to Victor, who stood behind her. Victor tried to stand tall, but fear was clear in his eyes. Kelechi saw it. Then he looked back at Zikora.
No, you are not.
He turned and walked away. Zikora stood there, unable to breathe well until his car disappeared. Victor came beside her and held her hand.
We will marry tomorrow, before he can do anything.
Zikora nodded slowly.
But as night settled over the house, fear settled with it. Because Kelechi had not shouted. He had not threatened loudly. He had not begged. He had spoken like a man who still believed the ending had already been written. And in his mind, it was simple. Zikora Okori would become his wife. The next morning, Zikora woke up before anyone called her. For a few seconds, she forgot what day it was. Then everything came back. The wedding. Kelechi's warning. Her father's tired face. Victor's promise. She sat on the edge of her bed and pressed her hands together. Her heart was beating too fast for a day that was supposed to bring peace. There was no bridal excitement in the house, no loud music, no friends laughing, no women rushing around with matching clothes. Everything was quiet. Too quiet. Zikora wore a simple cream dress. Her mother, Mrs. Rose, helped her zip it at the back, but her hands were shaking. Zikora turned and saw tears in her mother's eyes.
Mommy, don't cry.
This is not how I wanted your wedding morning to be.
I know.
I wanted joy for you.
I know, Mommy.
Mrs. Rose pulled her into her arms and held her tightly. In the sitting room, Inspector Daniel Okori stood in his clean shirt and trousers, looking like a man trying to carry a stone on his chest without letting anyone see the weight. When Zikora came out, his eyes softened.
My daughter.
Daddy.
He looked at her for a long time.
You should not have to do this because of fear.
I know.
If there was another way.
She walked to him and held his hand. I trust Victor.
I trust Victor.
But he did not look convinced. He trusted Victor more than Kelechi, yes. But no father wanted his daughter to marry because a dangerous man had given her 3 days. The small ceremony was held in a quiet private hall arranged by Victor's family. Only a few people were there. Victor stood near the front dressed in a simple suit. He looked nervous, but when he saw Zikora, his face brightened. Victor took her hand when she reached him.
You came.
Where else would I go?
He gave a small smile.
After today, nobody will separate us.
She wanted to believe him. The officiating minister cleared his throat and began the ceremony. His voice was calm, but even he looked uncomfortable. Everybody in the room knew this wedding was rushed. Everybody knew fear was standing among them, even though nobody wanted to say it aloud. Inspector Daniel stood beside Mrs. Rose, trying to stay strong. Victor's mother, Mrs. Grace Adiemi, sat stiffly on the other side. She kept rubbing her hands together. Her eyes moved from the door to Victor, then back to the door again. She was afraid, and her fear was not wrong. Just as the minister reached the important part, the doors opened. The room turned cold. Kelechi Obiora walked in. Blade came behind him. Then more men entered, all dressed darkly, all silent, all dangerous. Someone gasped. Mrs. Rose covered her mouth. Victor's hand tightened around Zikora's. Kelechi looked at the small gathering, then his eyes landed on Victor. His face was calm, but his anger filled the room.
Where did you find the courage?
This is my wedding.
Your wedding?
Yes. My wife is standing beside you.
And you are calling it your wedding?
Zikora pulled her hand from Victor's and stepped forward.
I am not your wife.
Not yet.
Inspector Daniel moved in front of his daughter.
That is enough. I am a police officer. You cannot enter here with your men and threaten people.
Inspector, power does not always wear a uniform.
Daniel's jaw hardened. Kelechi turned to Blade.
Close the doors. Blade obeyed. The sound of the doors closing made Mrs. Rose start crying.
Victor looked around, helpless.
You cannot do this.
Kelechi ignored him. Two of his men came forward with suitcases. They placed them on the floor and opened them. Cash filled each one. Mrs. Grace stared at the money, and her face changed. Kelechi looked at Victor.
Take it.
Victor's eyes filled with anger.
What? Take the money and leave her.
Victor shook his head.
You think everything is money? Yes. Most people only pretend until the price is high enough. Money cannot buy true love.
True love? Zikora looked at Victor,
Zikora looked at Victor, praying he would stay strong.
Victor's
mother stood suddenly.
Victor.
Mommy, no.
Mrs. Grace looked at the men with guns, then at the money, then at her son.
My son, listen to me.
No.
Love is sweet when people are alive to enjoy it. But when guns are involved, love will not bury you for me.
You want me to sell her?
I want you alive. I have only one son. I cannot lose you because of another family's
It
trouble.
was like a slap. But
Zikora felt those words like a slap, but she could not hate the woman. Fear was speaking through her. Victor looked at the money again. Then he looked at Zikora. His face broke.
I will not take it.
He said, but the strength in his voice had weakened. Kelechi saw it. Inspector Daniel pointed at the suitcases.
take that dirty money out of here.
Kelechi turned to him. Daniel's voice shook with anger.
You can buy weak men. You can buy silence. You can buy greetings from people who hate you. But you will not buy my daughter.
Kelechi said nothing. He reached into his jacket and brought out a small velvet box. He opened it. Inside was a necklace covered with shining stones. It looked too expensive to belong in that small hall. Kelechi walked to Zikora.
This was made for you.
Zikora stared at the necklace, then at him.
I don't want it.
Take it.
No.
His eyes darkened. She held his gaze.
You can keep your necklace. You can keep your money. You can even keep your threats. But you will not make me love you.
For a moment, the room was silent. Kelechi closed the box slowly. Then he stepped back.
I still expect your family's blessing.
Inspector Daniel gave a bitter laugh.
You will wait until your hair turns white. 3 days are not over.
Then he turned and left with his men. The doors opened again. This time, nobody felt free. The wedding was over. The minister quietly closed his book. Victor stood like a man who had been stripped in public. Zikora did not cry. She only stared at the floor, feeling something inside her become harder. Mrs. Rose held her. Zikora whispered,
I will not be bought.
and she meant it. That same evening, Kelechi sent more gifts to the Okori house. Boxes, jewelry, designer clothes, envelopes, more money. Zipporah looked at them once and made her decision. The next morning, she donated everything to an anti-terrorism fund in Kelechi Obiora's name.
Good afternoon. I'm here to make a small donation. Of course. Please sign here. Thank you.
The news spread faster than she expected. People began talking. Some praised Kelechi, thinking he had made a public donation. Others laughed when they heard that the nurse he wanted had donated his gifts to a cause that fought people like him. By afternoon, the story had reached the Obiora mansion. Kelechi stood in his study, watching the news on his phone. Blade stood near the door. For a long moment, Kelechi did not speak. Then he threw the phone against the wall. Blade did not move.
She donated my gifts? Yes, boss.
To an anti-terrorism fund?
Yes, boss. In your name.
Kelechi laughed once, but there was no joy in it.
She's mocking me.
Blade stayed quiet. Kelechi turned to him, his eyes hard.
Find her. Boss, she resigned from the hospital this morning.
Kelechi's face changed.
She sent a letter.
She said she will not return.
Kelechi walked closer.
Then search everywhere. She's not running alone.
Her family may try to hide her.
Then turn over every corner until you find her.
Yes, boss.
Kelechi stood still after Blade left. At first he had wanted Zipporah because she saved his life. Then because she was beautiful. Then because she refused him. Now it was something deeper and more dangerous. Zipporah had looked at him and said no. Again and again. She had embarrassed him in front of his men, his family, and now the public. And still, when he closed his eyes, he saw her face on that dark road, treating his wound with steady hands. She had touched his blood without asking for his name. She had saved him before she knew what his name could buy. That kind of woman was rare. And Kelechi Obiora did not let rare things go. While Kelechi searched for her, Zipporah stayed home with her parents. Mrs. Rose wanted them to leave.
Go to your aunt for some time. Just until this thing settles.
Zipporah shook her head.
If I leave, what about you and Daddy?
We will manage.
No. He will come after you people to find me.
Inspector Daniel sat quietly, his face heavy.
He wants you afraid. That is how men like him win.
Daddy, I am afraid.
I know.
But I am not leaving you.
Mrs. Rose began to cry again. Inspector Daniel reached for his daughter's hand.
Then we face it together.
A few days later, Kelechi attended a public police event. It was supposed to be a formal ceremony. Senior officers were present, business leaders were present, journalists were present. And Kelechi came dressed like a respected guest. Many officers were not happy to see him. One young officer, Sergeant Musa, could not hide his anger. Musa was known as a bold officer who disliked corruption. He watched the commissioner greet Kelechi like an honored man, and his face tightened.
The commissioner, Mr. Bamidele, was a polished man with a smooth voice and dirty hands. He smiled too much and feared powerful people more than he feared the law. Mr. Obiora, we are honored.
Sergeant Musa stepped forward. Honored. Sir, we are police officers.
Since when did we honor men with blood behind their money?
The whole place
went silent.
Commissioner Bamidele turned sharply.
Sergeant Musa, control your mouth.
Musa did not stop.
People like him are the reason ordinary families are afraid.
Kelechi looked at him calmly. Then he smiled.
Commissioner, is this the officer I told you about?
Yes, sir.
Musa looked confused.
What is going on?
Kelechi brought out a file and handed it to the commissioner.
Stolen funds, illegal payments, evidence. You should check your honest officer well.
Musa's face went pale.
That is a lie. Is it?
Two officers moved toward Musa.
He struggled.
This is a setup!
Kelechi did not raise his voice,
Take him away.
and they did.
No! You can't do this!
Right there in front of everyone. The room understood the message. Kelechi could destroy a man in uniform without touching him. And after that, he turned his attention to Inspector Daniel Okori. The trap came quietly. A file appeared. Money that Daniel had never touched was linked to his name. A false embezzlement case was opened. Evidence was planted so neatly that even people who trusted him became afraid to speak.
Inspector Daniel Okori, we are here on charges of embezzlement of public funds. Rose, be strong.
Inspector Daniel was suspended, questioned, and later detained. When Zikora heard, she felt the ground disappear under her feet. She ran from one lawyer to another. Some refused immediately once they heard Kelechi's name.
I'm sorry, Miss Okori. I cannot take this case.
Others asked for money her family could never raise. One lawyer looked at her with pity and said,
Miss Okori, this case is bigger than you think. If you want your father free, you need powerful help.
Zikora knew what that meant. That evening she went to see Kelechi. She hated every step that took her into his mansion. Blade led her into the sitting room. Kelechi was waiting for her. For a moment neither of them spoke. Then he said,
Zikora,
her throat felt dry.
My father is innocent.
Kelechi leaned back in his chair.
is that why you came?
You know he is innocent.
He watched her quietly. She forced herself to continue.
Please help him.
Kelechi tilted his head.
Please,
Zikora's face tightened.
say my name.
She looked at him with disgust.
Kelechi.
Not like that. She understood what he wanted. Her eyes filled with pain and anger. He wanted respect. No, not respect. Submission.
She swallowed her pride because her father was sitting somewhere in a cell because of him.
Mr. Obiero,
Kelechi's eyes softened with satisfaction.
Again,
Zikora's hands curled into fists.
Mr. Obiero, please help my father.
He stood and walked toward her.
if you want your father free, you already know what I want.
You are using him to force me.
I am giving you a choice.
No. You took every other choice away.
Kelechi came closer.
Then choose the one left.
Zikora looked away, fighting tears. She hated him. She hated his calm voice. She hated that her father's life now rested in his hands. And most of all, she hated that he knew it. When she returned home, Inspector Daniel had been released for the night under strict conditions, but the case was still hanging over him. He sat in the parlor, looking older than he had looked a week before. Zikora knelt in front of him.
Daddy.
He looked at her and already knew.
No,
Tears filled her eyes.
There is no other way.
I will not let you marry him because of me.
You did not let me. He trapped us.
I have served as a police officer all my life. How can my daughter marry the kind of man I spent my life fighting?
Zikora held his hand.
I am not doing it because I love him. I am doing it because he left me no choice.
Her father closed his eyes. Mrs. Rose turned away and cried silently. Later, Victor came to see Zikora. He looked tired, like he had not slept.
I heard about your father.
Zikora nodded.
I will help.
Victor,
No, I mean it. I have paintings. I can sell them. Even if I sell them cheap, I will raise something.
Zikora's heart ached.
the lawyers are asking for too much.
I will try.
I know you will.
Victor held her hands.
Don't give up on us.
Zikora could not answer. At Victor's house, Mrs. Grace became angry when she heard he wanted to sell his paintings.
Have you lost your mind?
Victor stood in his small studio, surrounded by canvases that had once carried his dreams.
Mommy, Her father is in trouble.
And whose fault is that? Since that family entered your life, have we known peace?
Zikora did not ask for this.
But you are the one suffering for it.
Victor looked at her.
looked at her.
Where is the money from the wedding?
Grace's eyes widened.
What money?
The money Kelechi brought. Where is it?
Grace stepped back.
You want to use that money for Zikora?
Yes.
No.
Mommy.
No, Victor. I will not watch you die because of love. That girl is being hunted by Kelechi Obiora. If you stand in the middle, he will crush you.
Victor looked at the paintings around him. For the first time, he felt small. He wanted to save Zikora, but he had no power, no money, no strong name. Only love. And love was beginning to look weak beside Kelechi's world. The next afternoon, Susan Obiora visited the Okori house. She came with a driver and a small envelope filled with money. Her dress was expensive, her perfume strong, and her smile cold. Zikora opened the door. Susan looked at her from head to toe.
So you are Zikora. And you are?
Kelechi's sister.
Zikora's face became guarded.
What do you want?
Susan pushed the envelope toward her.
Take this and leave my brother alone.
Zikora almost laughed.
You should say that to your brother. He's the one refusing to leave me alone.
Susan's eyes narrowed.
Please don't pretend with me. I know women like you. Act innocent while secretly praying to marry into wealth.
Mrs. Rose came out from the kitchen.
Young lady, mind how you speak in my house.
Susan turned to her.
And you must be her mother. Did you teach her how to trap rich men, or did she learn by herself?
Mrs. Rose gasped.
She picked
Something
up the
snapped in
glass of
Zikora.
water on the table.
She picked up the glass
and
of water
poured
on the
it on
table and
Susan.
poured it on Susan. Susan screamed.
You maggot!
She raised her hand, but Zikora caught it. In the struggle, Susan was slapped across the face. The room froze. Susan held her cheek, shocked beyond words.
You slapped me?
Zikora was breathing hard.
Take your money and leave.
Susan pointed at her.
I will make sure your whole family leaves this place with nothing.
Zikora opened the door wider.
Then start by leaving my house.
Susan snatched the envelope and stormed out. By the time she reached the Obiora mansion, she was crying loudly. Madame Patricia rushed to her.
What happened?
I went there peacefully. I only wanted to talk. That girl and her mother insulted me. She poured water on me. She slapped me.
Patricia's face darkened. When Kelechi came in, Patricia faced him immediately.
This marriage must stop.
Kelechi glanced at Susan, then back at Patricia.
Why?
Look at your sister.
I see her.
She humiliated me.
What did you say to her first?
Susan froze.
That is not the point.
It is my point.
Patricia stepped closer.
That girl has no class. She has no respect. She is not fit for this family.
Kelechi's eyes became cold.
I never asked for your opinion.
Patricia stared at him. He turned to leave, but stopped when he heard two servants whispering near the hallway. One said quietly,
Ordinary nurse. See how lucky some women are.
Maybe she used something on him.
Kelechi turned slowly. The servants froze.
Say it again.
Neither of them spoke. Kelechi walked closer. His voice was low, but it carried fear.
The woman you are mocking is the woman I will marry. If anyone in this house disrespects Zikora Okori again, you will leave here with nothing. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Kelechi looked around the room, making sure Patricia and Susan also heard him.
Zikora will be respected as my wife.
Susan lowered her eyes, but hatred burned inside her. Patricia said nothing. Kelechi walked away. And in that moment, everyone in the Obiora mansion understood something clearly. Kelechi had not only chosen Zikora, He was ready to fight his own house for her. Patricia watched Kelechi walk away, and her heart became bitter. She had lived inside the Obiora mansion for years. She had enjoyed the respect, the cars, the parties, and the fear that came with the name. But now, because of one ordinary nurse, Kelechi was talking to her like a stranger in her own house. Susan stood beside her, still angry from what had happened at Zikora's house.
Mommy, if that girl enters this family, we are finished. You saw how he defended her. He has not even married her yet, and he is already treating her like queen of the house.
Patricia's eyes hardened.
Kelechi is blind now, but blind men can still lose what they are holding.
What do we do?
Patricia looked towards the hallway where Kelechi had disappeared.
We remove the problem before she becomes his wife.
Susan became quiet. She understood. That night, Patricia made a call to a man named Pablo Eze. Pablo was not a man people visited in daylight. He was dangerous, greedy, and full of old anger. He had once worked with people connected to the Obiora family, but Kelechi had cut him off when he started cleaning the business. Pablo hated Kelechi for it. When Patricia mentioned Zikora, he laughed softly over the phone.
So the almighty Kelechi has found a weakness.
Can you handle it?
For the right price, anybody can disappear.
Patricia closed her eyes.
Do it quietly.
But things like that were never quiet for long. 2 days later, Zikora left the house early to see one of the lawyers again. She was tired, worried, and almost hopeless. Her father's case was still hanging over the family like a dark cloud. She crossed the road near a junction, holding her handbag tightly. Then she heard the sound of a speeding vehicle. Before she could turn fully, a truck swerved toward her. Someone screamed. Zikora tried to move, but everything happened too fast. The truck hit the side of a parked car, the force throwing metal and glass across the road. Zikora fell hard. Pain shot through her body and her head struck the ground. For a few seconds, the whole world became noise. Then darkness took her. News reached Kelechi within minutes. He was in his office when Blade entered, his face tight.
Boss, what is it? There was an accident.
Who?
Blade hesitated. That small hesitation was enough.
Zikora.
The room became still.
Where is she?
They said Opelf.
Say it.
They said there were no survivors.
For the first time, Kelechi looked like he had been hit by something he could not fight.
No.
Kelechi grabbed his car keys and rushed out. His men followed him, but he was already moving like a man who had lost his mind. When he reached the accident scene, police officers and people were standing around. The truck was damaged. The road was stained. A broken handbag lay near the side of the road. Kelechi saw it and stopped. It was Zikora's handbag.
Where is she?
One officer tried to block him.
Sir, you cannot come in here. Where is she?
Please calm down.
Kelechi turned on him.
Do not tell me to calm down.
Blade stepped in quickly before Kelechi could do worse. Kelechi moved toward the truck driver, who was sitting on the ground, shaking.
You!
The driver looked up in fear.
Who sent you? I don't know what happened! The brakes failed!
If she is dead, your life's already over.
Boss, people are watching.
Kelechi released the man, but his breathing was heavy.
Find out who caused this. Find everyone involved.
Yes, boss.
Kelechi looked around again. Power had opened doors for him. Money had bent men. Fear had cleared roads. But none of it could bring Zikora back if she was gone. He stood there with blood on the road in front of him and felt something break inside his chest. He had wanted to own her. He had wanted to win her. But now, all he wanted was to hear her insult him one more time. To see her eyes open. To know she was alive. Far away from the accident scene, Zikora was not dead. Victor had found her. He had been nearby when the accident happened. When he saw people gathering and heard someone mention a young woman, he ran forward and found Zikora lying weak and bleeding but still breathing. Fear almost stopped his heart. He did not take her to a public hospital because he was afraid Kelechi would find her there. Instead, he carried her into a taxi and took her to his small studio. Victor's studio was behind his mother's house. It was small, filled with canvases, paint, old brushes, and dreams he had not yet sold. When Mrs. Grace saw him carrying Zikora in, she nearly screamed.
Victor, what have you done?
She's hurt.
You brought her here. Do you want us all to die?
Mommy, she needed help.
You should have taken her to the hospital.
And let Kelechi's men find her?
Grace looked at Zikora, then at her son.
This girl will bury us.
Victor ignored her and cleaned Zikora's wounds as best as he could. He called a young doctor he knew and begged him to come secretly. By night, Zikora opened her eyes.
Zikora.
She looked around, weak and confused.
Where am I?
My studio. You had an accident.
My parents.
They are safe for now.
She tried to sit up, but pain stopped her. Victor held her gently.
Please don't move.
Zikora looked at him and saw the fear on his face. Then she heard Grace's voice outside, crying as she spoke to someone on the phone.
If Kelechi finds out she's here, he will kill my son.
Zikora closed her eyes. She could not let that happen. Later, when Victor stepped out to get medicine, Zikora forced herself up. Every part of her body hurt, but fear pushed her forward. She left the studio quietly. She did not know where she was going. She only knew she could not stay there and put Victor's life in danger. But Kelechi's network was wider than fear itself. By morning, one of his men saw her near a roadside clinic. Blade received the call. Kelechi was there before anyone could stop him. Zikora was sitting outside the clinic, weak and pale, when a black car stopped in front of her. She knew before the door opened. Kelechi stepped out. For one moment, he did not move. He only stared at her. Alive. Injured. But alive. Something came over his face that Zikora had never seen before. It was not anger. It was not pride. It was not control. It was relief so deep it almost looked like pain. He walked towards her slowly.
Zikora.
She tried to stand. He reached for her, but she moved back.
Don't touch me.
I thought you were dead.
I wish I had died before you found me.
Do not say that.
It is the truth.
I am taking you home.
I have a home.
You are not safe there.
I am not safe with you either.
His jaw tightened.
I would rather die than marry you.
Kelechi's face became cold again, as if he had locked away the man who had just been afraid of losing her.
If I cannot have you, no one can.
Then kill me.
The words hit him harder than he expected. For a few seconds he could only look at her. Then he turned to Blade.
Put her in the car.
Zikora struggled, but she was too weak. Blade looked uncomfortable, but he obeyed. Kelechi took her back to his mansion. That night, Zikora stood in one of the large rooms, still weak from the accident. Kelechi came in and closed the door behind him. She backed away immediately.
Stay away from me.
You keep running.
Because you keep chasing me.
I almost lost you.
You never had me.
He came close and reached for her face. Zikora turned away. His hand stopped in the air. For one dark moment, anger and desire fought inside him. He wanted to make her understand that she belonged to him. He wanted to erase every man before him, every refusal, every insult. But then he saw the fear in her eyes. Real fear. Not pride. Not defiance. Fear. Something in him pulled back. He stepped away from her. Zikora breathed shakily. Kelechi's voice became lower.
I will not force you like that.
She looked at him shocked. He straightened his jacket, as if that could hide what had almost happened.
We will wait until the wedding night.
Zikora's stomach turned. Before leaving, he stopped at the door.
If you run again, your parents will suffer for it.
The door closed behind him. Zikora stood alone in that beautiful room and understood the truth. She was trapped deeper than before. The next morning, she agreed to marry him. Not because she wanted him, not because she forgave him, because her father's case disappeared the same day she agreed. Inspector Daniel came home, free but ashamed. He could not look at his daughter at first. Zikora held his hand.
My child, I was supposed to protect you.
You did.
She whispered, though they both knew it was not true. The wedding day came quickly. Kelechi made it grand. Powerful people came. Businessmen, politicians, officers, family friends, and people who wanted to be seen near the Obiora name. Zikora wore an elegant white wedding dress. She looked beautiful, but her eyes carried no joy. Mrs. Rose cried quietly when she saw her. Inspector Daniel stayed close to his daughter, as if someone might pull her away if he blinked. Before they walked down the aisle, Zikora turned to both her parents.
Walk with me together.
Both of us?
I don't want Daddy to carry this pain alone.
Inspector Daniel closed his eyes for a moment. Then he took one arm, and Mrs. Rose took the other. Together, they walked their daughter toward the man none of them wanted. Kelechi stood at the front, dressed like a prince, his face calm, but his eyes followed Zikora as if nothing else in the room existed. Victor was there too. He looked broken. Mrs. Grace sat beside him, holding her handbag tightly. She kept whispering prayers under her breath. The priest began the ceremony. Zikora stood beside Kelechi, her heart pounding. Nobody knew that some hours earlier she had taken her father's gun. She had hidden it carefully. Now, before the vows could begin, she pulled it out.
The hall erupted in shock. Mrs. Rose screamed.
Zikora!
Zikora pointed the gun at Kelechi. Her hands were shaking, but her eyes were clear.
I would rather die than marry you.
Put it down.
No.
Victor stood.
Zikora, don't!
Kelechi sighed softly.
If you shoot me, everyone here dies.
What?
Kelechi looked toward the side of the hall. Blade lowered his eyes.
There is a bomb on this building.
The hall fell into horror. People began crying and shouting. Zikora stared at him like she was looking at something that could not be human.
You are the most horrible person I have ever known.
Kelechi's expression did not change, but something flickered in his eyes. Victor shouted,
Zikora, say no! Don't marry him!
My child, please. Save us, please.
Zikora looked around the hall. Her mother. Her father. Victor. The priest. People who had nothing to do with this madness. Slowly her hand dropped. The gun slipped from her fingers. She turned back to the priest, tears running down her face. When the question came, her voice was barely above a whisper.
Yes, I do.
The words killed something inside her. The priest's voice shook as he finished the ceremony.
I pronounce you husband and wife.
Paul was silent. Kelechi turned to Zikora.
I love you.
No, you don't love me. This is possession.
Kelechi frowned slightly.
What is the difference?
Zikora stared at him. That was when she understood how broken he really was. He did not even know. That night, Zikora entered the Obiora mansion as Kelechi's wife. Patricia and Susan stood at the entrance, dressed beautifully and smiling like kind family members.
Welcome home.
We are happy to have you.
Zikora looked at them and saw the hatred under their welcome. She said nothing. Later, Susan entered Patricia's room, furious.
She's lucky. That ordinary girl has stolen everything.
Patricia sat calmly by the mirror.
Be patient.
Patient?
Yes, she is inside our house now. That makes it easier.
Susan understood and smiled slowly.
We will find a way to deal with her.
In Kelechi's room, Zikora stood near the window, still in her wedding dress. Kelechi came in carrying a black velvet box.
I bought this from an auction.
She did not turn. He opened the box, revealing a diamond necklace that shone under the light.
It suits you perfectly.
Do you still think money can buy everything?
No,
Then why do you keep trying?
because I know how to give things. I am still learning how to give what you want.
She looked away. Kelechi came close and tried to kiss her. Zikora pulled back immediately. His face tightened, but he stopped. For a moment they stood in painful silence. Then Zikora, confused by her own anger and fear, stepped forward and kissed him quickly. Maybe she wanted to prove she was not afraid. Maybe she wanted to take control of something in a life where she had lost every choice. But Kelechi pulled away. Zikora looked at him in surprise. He breathed deeply.
No,
Is this not what you wanted?
yes, but not like this.
Her eyes searched his face. Kelechi looked away.
I don't want to force you to be intimate with me.
But you forced me to marry you.
The words landed between them. Kelechi had no answer. After a moment, he said,
One day, you will come to me willingly.
Zikora turned back to the window.
Keep waiting.
He left her there, alone with the necklace she refused to wear. The next morning, Patricia and Susan complained openly in the sitting room, not knowing Kelechi was close enough to hear them.
That girl has no respect, parading around like she owns the place.
After last night, she needs to learn her place. She has not even spent one full day here, and he has already bought her diamonds.
If this continues, she will take everything.
Kelechi entered. Both women fell silent.
Zikora is my wife. She is entitled to everything I own.
Kelechi, you are going too far.
He turned to her.
The family wealth is not yours to control.
Patricia's face tightened. Susan looked down. Kelechi faced her.
You will apologize to Zikora
For what?
for disrespecting her before she even entered this house.
Susan looked at Patricia, but Patricia said nothing. Kelechi's voice became colder.
Now,
Susan had no choice. She went to Zikora, who was sitting quietly in the garden.
I am sorry.
Zikora looked at her.
For what?
Susan's mouth tightened.
For disrespecting you.
Zikora watched her for a moment.
Apology accept.
Susan turned away quickly before her anger showed too much. But inside, her jealousy had become something darker. Zikora had entered the mansion as a prisoner. Yet Kelechi was already treating her like the owner of the house. And Susan knew one thing clearly. If Zikora stayed, she would lose everything she believed belonged to her. Susan left the garden with her apology still bitter in her mouth. Zikora watched her go and knew the apology meant nothing. The Obiora mansion was beautiful, but peace did not live there. Every hallway felt like someone was listening. Every smile carried another meaning. Every act of kindness looked like it was waiting for a price. That evening, Zikora sat alone in the garden until the sky became dark. She heard footsteps behind her and already knew it was Kelechi.
she don't have to sit alone.
I prefer it.
He stood beside her but did not sit. Before he would have sat whether she liked it or not. This time, he waited. Zikora noticed. That annoyed her even more because she did not want to notice anything good about him. After a while, Kelechi spoke quietly.
I am beginning to understand something.
That kidnapping women is wrong?
His face tightened, but he accepted the insult.
That fear will not make you love me.
You are only discovering that now.
I know many things, but not this.
Teach me
Teach you what?
how to be gentle.
For a moment, she did not know what to say. Kelechi Obiora stood in front of her like a man asking for something he had never been given. There was no pride in his voice this time, no threat, no command, just a strange kind of honesty. Zikora did not trust it.
Gentleness is not something you learn so you can win somebody.
I am not asking to win.
You always want to win.
Maybe. But I am tired of you looking at me as if I'm only a monster. Zikora's face softened for a breath, then hardened again.
Then stop acting like one.
I will try.
He did not argue. Then he walked away.
Zikora stayed there long after he left, angry with herself for feeling anything at all. The next week, Zikora returned to the hospital. She had resigned before, but Kelechi had somehow arranged everything with the director. Her name was restored to the staff list, and a new ward had been opened in her name. When she entered the hospital that morning, nurses gathered around her.
Your husband is too generous.
Imagine a whole building donated in your name. You are blessed. Some women are really lucky.
Zikora smiled weakly and thanked them, but inside she felt trapped. They saw a lucky wife. They saw diamonds, wealth, and a powerful husband. They did not see the gun at the wedding. They did not see the fear. They did not see her father's shame. They did not see the way her life had been taken and dressed in silk. One nurse, Amaka, leaned closer and whispered,
My sister, whatever you used to catch that man, keep using it.
Some women laughed. Zikora forced herself to smile, but her chest was tight. She wanted to scream that nobody had caught anybody. She was the one who had been caught. Later that afternoon, as she walked toward the back of the hospital, she saw Victor waiting near the side gate. Her heart stopped.
Victor, what are you doing here?
He looked thinner. His eyes were tired.
I needed to see you.
You should not be here.
I know, but I can't just forget you like that.
Please leave before someone sees you.
Victor stepped closer.
Tell me you are all right.
She could not answer. He looked at her clothes, her face, the security man standing far away.
You are not happy.
Victor.
Come with me. We can still run.
No.
No?
I am married now.
You were forced.
Yes, but it is done.
Victor looked as if she had slapped him.
Done? Zikora, he ruined our wedding. He threatened your family, took you like property.
I know.
Then why are you speaking like this?
Because if you keep coming near me, he will hurt you.
I am not afraid of him.
Zikora held his hand quickly.
You should be.
Victor looked at their joined hands with pain in his eyes.
Do you still love me?
Zikora closed her eyes. She wanted to give him an easy answer. She wanted to say yes and make everything simple again. But nothing was simple.
Victor, please, stop looking for me.
His eyes filled with tears.
You are choosing him?
I am trying to keep you alive.
Unknown to them,
Susan
had seen everything from inside a parked car. She smiled.
The photo was enough to become a weapon.
By evening, she was in Kelechi's study. Kelechi was going through some documents when she entered without knocking. He looked up.
What do you want?
Susan placed her phone on the table. On the screen was a photo of Zikora and Victor near the hospital side gate. Kelechi stared at it. His face went still.
Your wife is enjoying your money and still meeting her ex-fiancé.
Kelechi did not move.
I warned you about her. She is pretending to hate you, but she knows exactly what she's doing.
Kelechi picked up the phone. The photo showed Zikora holding Victor's hand. Something hot and ugly rose inside him. Jealousy. Not the small kind. The kind that made his chest burn.
Leave.
Brother, I am only trying to protect you.
I said leave.
This time, his voice was dangerous. Susan obeyed, but she left satisfied. She had planted the fire. Kelechi found Victor that night. Victor was in his studio, standing before an unfinished painting. The painting was of Zikora, but the face was not complete. The door opened. Victor turned. Kelechi walked in with blade and two men. Victor stiffened.
Get out!
Kelechi looked around the studio. Canvases leaned against the walls. Paintbrushes sat in jars. There was no wealth there, only effort and hope.
You saw my wife today.
Victor's fear showed for only a second before anger covered it.
She was mine before you forced her. She is my wife now. She will never love you.
Kelechi's jaw tightened. Victor laughed bitterly.
That is what hurts you, isn't it? You can force a wedding. You can force people clap. But you cannot force her heart.
Kelechi moved so fast Victor barely saw it coming. He grabbed him by the collar and pushed him against the wall.
Do not speak like you know better than me.
Victor looked into his eyes and said,
I do.
For a moment, the room became silent. Then Kelechi released him and stepped back.
Which hands did you use to touch her?
What?
Kelechi turned to Blade.
Break them.
Blade hesitated. Kelechi looked at him. Blade's face tightened.
Boss. Do it.
Victor's eyes widened. The men held him. He struggled, shouting Zikora's name, but nobody came. Kelechi turned away before it happened. Even then, he heard Victor's cry, and something in him knew he had crossed a line again. But jealousy had already done its damage. By morning, Zikora found out. Victor's mother came to the hospital crying. She grabbed Zikora by the arm in front of everyone.
Are you happy now? Mommy Grace, what happened? My son's hands. Your husband destroyed my son's hands.
Zikora went cold.
No, his hands, Zikora. The hands he used to paint. His life is finished because of you.
Zikora could not breathe. She left the hospital immediately and rushed back to the mansion. Kelechi was in the sitting room when she entered. She walked straight to him.
You broke Victor's hands?
He touched you.
Zikora stared at him like she did not recognize him.
He is an artist.
He should have stayed away from my wife.
She slapped him. The room froze. Servants stopped where they stood. Susan, watching from the staircase, smiled a little. Kelechi slowly turned his face back to Zikora. Tears filled her eyes.
You are a monster.
Kelechi said nothing.
You asked me to teach you gentleness. Then you destroy a man's future because of jealousy.
He came near you.
And that gave you the right to ruin his life.
Kelechi's silence made her angrier.
You do not love me. You love owning me. You love punishing anybody who reminds you that I had a life before you.
She turned and walked away before he could answer. After that day, Zikora stopped eating. At first, Kelechi thought she was only angry. Then one day passed. Then two. The maids brought food and took it away untouched. Water sat beside her bed until it became warm. She barely spoke. She barely slept. Kelechi came to her room on the third day. Zikora was sitting by the window, weak but stubborn. He stood at the door for a moment.
You need to eat.
She did not turn.
Zikora,
I heard you.
you can insult me. You can shout. You can hit me again if that helps. But you need strength.
She looked at him slowly.
If starving myself makes you suffer, then I will continue.
What do you want from me?
Apologize to Victor.
No.
Then leave me.
You want me to apologize to that poor artist who touched my wife?
I want you to apologize to the man whose life you destroyed.
Kelechi looked away, struggling with his pride.
If there is even a small human being left inside you, prove it.
Those words stayed with him. The next day, Kelechi went to Victor's studio. Victor was sitting with both hands bandaged. His mother stood beside him, her face full of hatred. Kelechi entered with Blade carrying a bag. Grace moved in front of her son.
Have you come to finish him?
Kelechi ignored her and looked at Victor.
I came to compensate you.
Blade placed the bag on the table and opened it. Money. Victor looked at it and laughed quietly.
Of course. There is 100 million there. Money cannot replace dreams.
Kelechi said nothing.
Those hands were my life. They were the only thing I had. You took them because you were jealous.
Kelechi swallowed his pride.
I am sorry.
Grace stared at him in shock. Victor's laugh became bitter.
Kelechi Obiora is apologizing to me.
Should I clap?
Kelechi's jaw tightened, but he stayed still.
I said I am sorry. Will sorry make my hands work again? Will sorry give me back Zikora? Will sorry give me back the man I was?
Kelechi did not answer. Victor leaned back, tears gathering in his eyes.
Kill me.
Victor.
Just kill me. I have already lost what matters.
Kelechi's face changed a little.
I will not kill you. Why? You already killed my future.
Kelechi looked at the bandaged hands.
Some things cannot be returned.
Victor stared at him. Those words did not comfort him. They planted something darker. As Kelechi left, Victor watched him go with hatred rising in his chest. Before, he hated Kelechi. Now he hated Zikora too. Because in his mind, all of it had happened because of her. A few days later, Inspector Daniel asked to see Kelechi alone. They met in the Okori house. Daniel looked older, but his eyes were still strong. Kelechi sat across from him, quiet. Daniel studied him for a long time.
You say you love my daughter.
I do.
No, Kelechi. You want her. There is a difference.
Love is not control. Love gives the other person room to breathe. I am trying. Trying is not enough if you still hold a knife behind your back.
Kelechi looked down. For once, he did not defend himself. Daniel leaned forward.
My daughter is not a trophy. She is not a property. She is not a prize you won because you had more power than another man.
She saved me. She treated your wound. No, she saved me in more ways than that.
Daniel became quiet.
I have lived with blood, betrayal, enemies, and people who only stayed close because they feared me or wanted something from me. But when Zikora found me, she did not know my name. She did not care who I was. She just helped me. For the first time in years, someone looked at me like I was human.
Daniel looked at him, and for the first time his anger became mixed with something else. Understanding, maybe. But not forgiveness.
Kelechi, peace cannot be stolen from another person. And love cannot be forced. If you truly love her, give her time. If she does not choose you freely, then let her go.
The words seemed to cost Kelechi something. After a long silence, he nodded.
If she still does not love me after some time, I will let her go.
Neither man knew Zikora had come to the doorway and heard part of it. She stood there quietly, her heart confused. She had heard Kelechi say she made him feel human. She had heard him promise to let her go. She did not forgive him, not even close. But for the first time, she wondered if there was a wounded man hiding behind all that cruelty. Maybe he was still dangerous. Maybe he was still wrong. But maybe he was not empty. That thought frightened her in a different way. Later that night, Kelechi came home injured. He entered quietly, but Zikora saw the blood on his sleeve. She stood from the chair.
What happened?
Nothing.
You are bleeding.
It is small.
You men and this foolish pride.
He looked at her, surprised. She took the first aid kit and pointed to the chair. Sit.
Sit.
She cleaned the wound in silence. It was not deep, but it looked painful.
Pablo's men?
How do you know that name?
I listen more than people think.
He almost smiled. She pressed the cotton harder than necessary. He winced.
You know Pablo shot me before. But the person who really hurt me that first day was you.
Me?
You hit me with your car.
I nearly hit you. There is a difference.
And then you insulted me while saving my life.
You were rude while bleeding.
For a second, something like a smile touched her lips. Kelechi saw it. He did not speak because he was afraid the wrong word would chase it away. After that night, things changed little by little. Not fully, not magically, but enough to be noticed. Kelechi started knocking before entering her room. He asked if she wanted to eat instead of ordering the maids to force food on her. When she said she wanted to visit her parents, he allowed Blade to take her and told him not to enter the house unless she asked. When she sat in the garden, he sat at a distance. Sometimes they spoke, sometimes they did not. But he waited. And waiting was not something Kelechi knew how to do. One night, Zikora found him in the sitting room, alone. The lights were low. He had a glass in his hand, but he had not touched it. She should have gone back upstairs. Instead, she sat on the other end of the sofa. He looked at her, but said nothing. After a long silence, he asked,
Do you miss your old life?
Every day.
He nodded slowly.
I took too much from you.
She turned to him, surprised by the honesty.
Yes,
I don't know how to undo it.
you cannot undo it,
He looked down.
but you can stop adding to it.
Kelechi nodded. They sat in silence again. He did not touch her. He did not move closer. He simply stayed there. And somehow, that quiet moment touched Zikora more than all the diamonds he had ever placed before her. She did not trust him fully. She did not forget what he had done. But she no longer saw only a monster. Patricia and Susan noticed. They saw the way Kelechi softened when Zikora entered a room. They saw how he waited for her answer before making decisions that concerned her. They saw how Zikora no longer flinched every time he came near. And fear entered their hearts.
If she wins him completely, we are finished.
Then she must not win.
Susan's next plan was quiet. Zikora had been taking medicine after the accident. Susan got access to the room through one of the maids and replaced the medicine with birth control pills. Then she called Victor. At first, Victor refused to speak to her.
What do you want?
Zikora still loves you.
Victor went silent.
She is trapped here. Kelechi is watching her. If you still care about her, come and take her away.
Victor's broken hands had healed badly, but his heart was worse. He wanted to believe Zikora still belonged to him. So he came. He entered through a side gate Susan had arranged to be left open. Zikora was in the garden when he appeared. She stood in shock.
Victor,
We have to go.
what are you doing here?
Susan told me everything. I know you're trapped. I came to take you away.
No, you should not be here.
Zikora, please. I lost everything, but I still love you.
Victor, I am so sorry for what happened to you.
Then come with me.
I can't.
Because of him,
She looked away.
you are falling for him.
It is not that simple.
Answer me.
She closed her eyes briefly.
My feelings have changed. I don't even fully understand them. But yes, something has changed.
Victor looked like the last part of him had broken.
He ruined me. And you fell in love with him?
I did not say it like that.
But that is what it means.
Before Zikora could answer, Susan appeared with Patricia and Kelechi. Kelechi's face hardened when he saw Victor. Susan lifted a small bottle in her hand.
Brother, before you defend her, you should see this.
What is that?
The pills your wife has been taking secretly.
Kelechi looked at the bottle.
Birth control pills. She has been pretending with you while planning to run away with her ex-lover. Why else would he be here?
Zikora's eyes widened.
That is a lie.
Of course it is.
Kelechi looked at Zikora. There was pain in his eyes. Not just anger. Pain.
Kelechi, I did not take those.
He looked at Victor, then back at her. For a moment, it seemed like he wanted to believe her. Then Victor spoke.
She does not belong to you. You took my hands. You took my dream. You took the woman I was supposed to marry. What else do you want from me?
Leave.
No, kill me if you want. You already destroyed my life.
Kelechi moved toward him. Zikora quickly stood between them.
Stop.
Move.
No.
You are protecting him?
I am stopping you from becoming worse.
Victor shouted from behind her.
Let him do it. That is all he knows. Violence, threats, blood!
Kelechi's control began to break.
You came into my house. Again. Because of her. Everything I lost was because of her.
Victor.
His eyes were wild now.
You should have stayed away from me if you knew you would choose him.
The words hurt her. Kelechi heard them too, and something in him snapped. He pulled a gun from one of his men and pointed it toward Victor. Zikora gasped.
Kelechi, no!
Do it.
Kelechi's hand shook slightly.
Please, do not do this.
He looked at her hand on him, then at her face.
You are begging for him.
I am begging for you. Because if you kill him, you will lose whatever part of yourself you are trying to save.
Kelechi's breathing was hard. Susan watched quietly, disappointed that he had not already pulled the trigger. Patricia stood behind her, face unreadable. For a long moment, nobody moved. Then Kelechi lowered the gun.
Get him out.
Blade stepped forward and held Victor. Victor did not fight at first. He only looked at Zikora with a pain that had turned into hatred.
He changed.
I am sorry.
No, you will be.
Blade dragged him away. Kelechi turned to Zikora, still wounded by what he had seen.
I want to believe you.
Then believe me.
He looked at the pills in Susan's hand. Then he looked toward the gate where Victor had disappeared.
I am trying.
But trying was not the same as trusting. And as Zikora stood there between Kelechi's pain and Susan's lies, she knew the peace they had just begun to build was already cracking. The peace cracked that night. After Victor was dragged out of the mansion, Zikora stood in the garden with tears in her eyes. Kelechi stood a few steps away from her, holding the small bottle of pills Susan had shown him. He wanted to believe Zikora, but the pain in his chest was louder than reason. Zikora looked at him and said quietly,
If you cannot trust me, then everything you said about changing means nothing.
Kelechi did not answer. That silence hurt her more than shouting would have. She turned and walked away. Kelechi remained in the garden long after she left. For the first time in a long while, he felt helpless. He had money, men, power, and fear on his side, but he could not make Zikora's eyes stop looking at him with disappointment. He went to his study and locked the door. But Susan came to him later that night. She was dressed beautifully, with her hair arranged carefully and perfume filling the room before she even entered. Her eyes were soft, but there was something desperate under the softness. Kelechi looked up from his chair.
What do you want?
Susan
closed the door behind her.
I came to check on you.
I did not ask you to.
She swallowed the insult and moved closer.
Kelechi, why are you doing this to yourself? Zikora does not want you. She never wanted you.
Leave.
Susan did not leave.
She is using you. She is still tied to Victor. Can't you see it?
I said leave.
But I want you.
Kelechi froze. She stepped closer.
I have wanted you for a long time. Since my mother married your father, I admired you. We are not blood. We are only step-siblings. There is nothing wrong if you choose me instead.
Kelechi stared at her with disgust. Susan's eyes filled with tears, but she kept talking.
I can give you children. I can protect the Obiora name. I understand this family. I understand power. Zikora will only weaken you.
Kelechi moved back as if her words had touched something dirty.
Do not ever say that to me again.
Susan's face fell.
Kelechi.
Zikora is everything you are not.
The words hit her hard.
She has a heart. She has courage. She has truth in her even when that truth is against me. You only know envy and greed.
Kelechi pointed to the door.
Get out.
Susan stood there for a moment, humiliated. Then she turned and left. But as she walked down the hallway, her tears dried into anger. She could feel the Obiora name slipping away from her hands. She had grown up believing the mansion, the money, and the respect would always belong around her. Now, one nurse had come in and taken Kelechi's heart without even begging for it. Susan could not accept that. But while she was planning her next lie, Kelechi's men were already working. Blade had not trusted Susan's story. He had seen too many things that did not make sense. The side gate had been left open for Victor. The pills had appeared too easily. Pablo's men had been moving strangely since the accident. And Susan always seemed to know too much before trouble happened. So Blade began to investigate quietly.
What did you see that night?
She entered the room and changed the medicine.
Within days, the truth started coming out.
You drove Susan to meet a man connected to Pablo, is it? Yes, sir. I did. And you didn't think to tell anyone?
Phone records showed that Susan had spoken to Victor before he came to the mansion. Another man confessed that Patricia had paid money to hide the first accident and keep Pablo quiet. When Blade brought everything to Kelechi, the study became silent. Kelechi sat behind his desk, listening without moving. Blade finished and placed the file before him.
Boss, Susan planted the pills. She arranged for Victor to come. She contacted Pablo. Madam Patricia helped cover the accident.
Kelechi's face became cold in a way Blade knew well.
Bring them.
Patricia and Susan were brought to the study that night.
At first, Susan pretended to be innocent.
I don't know what they told you, but they are lying.
Kelechi threw the file on the table. Susan saw the photos, phone records, and statements. Her face changed. Patricia sat stiffly, trying to hold on to her pride. Kelechi looked at both of them.
You tried to kill my wife.
Kelechi, we only wanted to protect the family.
By killing Zikora?
I did not mean for it to go that far.
Kelechi stood.
You changed her medicine. You brought Victor here. You worked with Pablo. You almost destroyed my marriage and endangered my wife.
Patricia's pride finally broke.
Please, we made a mistake.
Kelechi looked at her as if he did not know her.
A mistake is when you break a glass. This was a plan.
Susan fell to her knees.
Brother, please.
Do not call me that.
I am not your brother, and you know it. She cried harder.
Kelechi turned to Blade.
Make them confess everything. Record it.
Kelechi, no. This will ruin us.
You ruined yourselves.
As they were taken away, Kelechi felt no peace. The truth was clear now. Zikora had not betrayed him. He had doubted her because fear and jealousy were still stronger in him than trust. Now he had to face her. That was the hardest part. But before he could speak to Zikora, another tragedy happened. Inspector Daniel was found badly beaten near his home. When Zikora saw her father lying on the hospital bed, her world broke again. His face was swollen. His breathing was weak. Her mother sat beside him, crying and shaking.
Daddy, please wake up.
Inspector Daniel opened his eyes only a little, but he could not speak clearly. Zikora's heart twisted. Then Patricia and Susan appeared at the hospital. Nobody knew who had called them. Susan rushed forward, pretending to be shocked.
Oh my God, what happened?
Zikora did not even have strength to answer. Patricia placed a hand on her chest.
This is terrible.
Then Susan looked at Zikora with careful sadness.
Zikora, you know who did this.
Zikora slowly turned to her. Susan lowered her voice.
Kelechi.
Zikora's body went cold. Patricia quickly added,
My dear, I know you do not want to believe it. But remember his threats. He said if you ever tried to leave, your parents would suffer.
He has said it many times. When Kelechi feels betrayed, he destroys people.
Zikora shook her head.
No.
But fear had already entered. She remembered Kelechi's words. If you run again, your parents will suffer for it. Her father groaned weakly on the bed. Zikora's eyes filled with tears. She did not want to believe Kelechi could do this after everything. But a part of her still remembered the man who had forced her into marriage, broken Victor's hands, and threatened everyone at their wedding. That fear pushed her into anger. She left the hospital and went straight to the Obiora mansion. In her father's room earlier that day, she had seen his spare gun in a drawer. This time she took it without thinking. When she entered Kelechi's study, he stood immediately.
Zikora?
She raised the gun at him. Kelechi froze. Blade moved from the side, but Kelechi lifted his hand to stop him.
Leave us.
Blade hesitated.
Leave!
Blade stepped out slowly. Zikora's hands were shaking.
How could you? You took everything from me. You helped my father.
What?
Do not lie to me.
I did not touch him.
You threatened him before.
Zikora, listen to me.
Stay there.
He stopped. Her tears fell freely now.
My father is lying in the hospital because of you.
No. I swear to you I did not do it. I asked my men to investigate as soon as I had.
You expect me to believe you?
Yes.
Why should I believe you after everything?
Kelechi's face tightened with pain, but he did not argue. Before he could answer, Blade entered again, breathing fast.
Boss, I told you to leave. I know, but we found something.
Zikora did not lower the gun. Blade looked at her, then at Kelechi.
The weapon used on Inspector Daniel has fingerprints. They belong to Victor Adeyemi.
No.
Phone records also show Victor was near the hospital and near the Okori house before the attack.
Zikora stepped back as if the room had shifted under her feet.
No. Victor would not do that.
I know it is hard to hear.
You are framing him.
Before anyone could speak, Victor entered the mansion with 2 officers behind him. He looked weak and wounded, his hands still partly bandaged.
I knew this would happen. He is trying to frame me.
Victor, tell me you did not touch my father.
Victor looked at her with hurt eyes.
How can you even ask me that?
Kelechi's jaw tightened. Victor pointed at him.
He is the one. He has the power. He has the men. He threatened your family from the beginning.
Zikora looked between both men, torn apart. Then her phone rang. It was her mother. Zikora answered quickly.
Mommy?
Your father is awake. He is asking for you.
Everyone rushed to the hospital. Inspector Daniel was weak, but his eyes were clearer now. Zikora knelt beside him.
Daddy, who did this to you?
Daniel's gaze moved slowly across the room. It stopped on Victor. Victor's face changed. Daniel lifted a trembling hand and pointed.
Victor.
Zikora's whole body went still. Victor stepped back.
Sir, you are confused.
Daniel struggled to speak.
He came to me. He said Kelechi took everything from him. He said Zikora should have been his.
Victor's mask began to crack.
Victor.
He looked at her. For a moment, the gentleman she once loved stood there. Then bitterness swallowed him.
Yes.
The room became silent. He laughed softly, but it sounded broken. Yes.
Yes. I went to him.
Why?
Why?
Victor's eyes filled with tears and hatred.
Because Kelechi took everything from me. He took you. He took my dream. He took my hands. He took my future.
My father did nothing to you.
And what did I do to deserve all this? I loved you. I stood by you. I tried to marry you. And what did I get? Broken hands and pity.
You made your choices.
You destroyed my life.
I hurt you, yes, but you chose revenge.
Victor's eyes burned.
Then Blade entered with more documents and 2 police officers.
There is more.
Zikora turned slowly. Blade looked at her gently.
We reopened your brother John's case.
Her breath caught. Inspector Daniel tried to sit up.
What? John's death was not connected to Kelechi's gang. The old report was altered.
Victor's face went pale. Zikora looked at him.
What is he talking about?
Blade handed the file to one of the officers. The officer spoke quietly.
There was an argument between John Okori and Victor Adeyemi years ago. John discovered Victor was helping Pablo's men move illegal money through art sales and fake exhibitions. John threatened to report him.
Zikora's lips parted.
No.
Victor shot John during the argument. Pablo's men helped him make it look like a gang attack. That was why the case became confusing.
Inspector Daniel looked as if his heart had been torn open again.
I trusted you. I almost gave you my daughter.
Victor's eyes darted around the room. He could no longer pretend. Zikora stared at him, broken.
You killed my brother?
He should have minded his business.
Almost collapsing, Zikora stepped back like Victor had become a stranger in front of her. The man she once trusted. The man she almost married. The man she had defended in her heart for so long. He had been the real shadow all along. Victor's voice rose.
John looked down on me. He said I was not good enough for you. He said he would expose me. All of you judged me. All of you made me feel small.
Zikora's tears fell silently.
You killed him. And you let my family blame the wrong people for years.
Do you know what it feels like to be nothing beside men like Kelechi? He has everything: money, power, fear, even you.
You had my trust. You had my family's love.
Victor laughed bitterly.
Trust does not buy greatness.
The police moved toward him. Victor backed away. He suddenly pulled a small knife from his sleeve and grabbed one officer, creating chaos in the room. People screamed. Kelechi moved in front of Zikora and her father immediately. For once, he did not move like a man protecting property. He moved like a man protecting the people he loved. Victor shouted,
I cannot have my life back. You won't have yours either.
Victor, stop!
You chose him.
You destroyed yourself. Kelechi hurts you, but you chose revenge. You chose lies. You killed my brother. You attacked my father. Do not put that on me.
Victor shook his head like he could not bear the truth. More officers rushed in. They overpowered him and took the knife. In the struggle, one of the officers' guns fell. Victor saw it. Everything happened too fast. He grabbed the gun and pointed it at Zikora. Kelechi moved before anyone else could.
The gun went off. Zikora screamed. Kelechi stood in front of her, eyes wide for one short second, then blood spread across his shirt.
He fell. The room exploded into panic. Victor was tackled to the ground and arrested. Officers dragged him away while he shouted, but Zikora could no longer hear his words. She dropped beside Kelechi.
Kelechi, no, please.
His blood covered her hands just like the first day she found him on the road. Only this time she knew his name. This time the fear in her heart was not duty. It was something deeper. Kelechi looked at her weakly.
You are safe.
Don't talk. Stay with me.
You said that the first day.
Kelechi, please. Please don't die.
For the first time, Zikora realized she was not only afraid because a man was bleeding. She was afraid because Kelechi was bleeding. Because despite everything, despite the pain, despite the ugly beginning, a part of her cared for him more than she had wanted to admit. Doctors rushed him into surgery. Zikora stayed outside the operating room the whole time. Mrs. Rose sat beside her holding her hand. Inspector Daniel, weak but alive, was brought in a wheelchair later. Nobody spoke much. There was nothing to say. Hours passed. When the doctor finally came out and said Kelechi would live,
Mr. Obiora will leave.
Zikora covered her face and cried. Not loudly. Just quietly, like her body had been holding too much for too long. For days she stayed by Kelechi's side. When he opened his eyes, she was there. He looked at her and whispered,
You stayed.
You were shot because of me.
No. I was shot because Victor pulled the trigger already.
She looked down. He watched her with tired eyes. She did not answer.
She did not answer.
Not because she did not hear him, but because sorry was too small for everything they had survived. When Kelechi became strong enough to sit up, Zikora told him she wanted to leave the mansion.
I want to leave the mansion.
He looked at her for a long moment. The old Kelechi would have said no. The old Kelechi would have locked doors, called guards, made threats, and called it love. But this Kelechi only nodded slowly.
I promised your father. If you want to go, I will not stop you.
Zikora searched his face, almost expecting a trap. There was none. He continued.
I have no right to ask you for love after all the pain I caused you.
Her eyes softened, but she did not move closer.
I need to breathe.
I know.
I need to remember who I am without fear.
I know.
So Zikora left the Obiora mansion. For the first time since the nightmare began, nobody followed her. No black car waited outside. No guard watched the gate. No threat was placed on her family. She went back to her parents' house and stayed there. The house was quieter now. It carried grief, truth, and healing all at once. Inspector Daniel struggled with guilt. He had trusted Victor. He had almost handed Zecora to the man who killed John. He blamed himself until Zecora sat beside him one evening and held his hand.
Daddy, he deceived all of us.
I should have seen it.
You were grieving. We all were.
Mrs. Rose cried often for John all over again, but this time, at least, she knew the truth. Victor was taken away and charged for John's murder, the attack on Inspector Daniel, conspiracy with Pablo's men, and attempted murder. The police also discovered medical reports proving that Victor's hands had not been permanently destroyed as he claimed. One wrist had been badly injured, yes, and Kelechi had been wrong for ordering it. But Victor had exaggerated the damage, bribed a small clinic worker, and used bandages longer than needed to gain Zecora's sympathy and turn everyone against Kelechi. That truth hurt Zecora deeply. Not because it made Kelechi innocent. It did not. But because Victor had used her compassion like a weapon. Meanwhile, Kelechi did not chase her. Instead, he began to change. Not with speeches, with action. He handed over Pablo's network to the police and cooperated with the investigation. He cut off the violent men who had once worked under the Obiora name.
Your association with this family ends today.
He opened the family books to investigators, even when it cost him money and pride. He removed Patricia and Susan from power. Patricia was made to face the law for her role in the accident and cover-up. Susan was also charged for planting evidence, working with Pablo, and helping Victor enter the mansion. Before Susan was taken away, she looked at Kelechi with hatred.
You chose her over family.
No. I chose truth over poison.
The Obiora businesses changed slowly. Some people laughed and said Kelechi was only pretending. Others waited for him to return to his old ways. But he did not. Zecora watched from a distance. She heard about the men he dismissed. She heard about the hospitals he funded without putting her name on the donation. She heard about the families of past victims receiving support quietly and without cameras. For once, Kelechi was not trying to buy forgiveness. He was trying to become a better man, even if she never returned. Months passed. Zecora healed slowly. Some days, she hated him. Some days, she missed him. Some days, she remembered the bomb at the wedding and felt sick with anger. Other days, she remembered him sitting quietly beside her, waiting without touching her. Healing did not move in a straight line. One afternoon, Zecora went to see Kelechi. This time, no one brought her. No guard forced her. No fear pushed her. She went by herself. When she entered the Obiora mansion, the place felt different. Quieter, less proud, less hungry. Kelechi was in the garden when Blade told him she had come.
Zecora has arrived.
He stood so quickly his chair almost fell. When he saw her, he stopped.
Zecora.
She stood a few steps away from him.
You look better.
So do you.
Silence passed between them, but it was not as heavy as before. Kelechi gestured to a chair, but he did not tell her to sit. She noticed. And she sat, because she wanted to. For a while, they listened to the wind move through the trees. Then Zecora spoke.
I cannot forget what you did.
I know. I am sorry.
I cannot pretend our beginning was beautiful.
I know.
You hurt me. You frightened me. You forced me into a life I did not choose.
Yes.
But I also cannot deny that you changed.
Kelechi lifted his eyes slowly.
I needed to see who you would become when nobody was forcing me to stay. When you had nothing to gain from doing good.
And what did you see?
A man trying. Not a perfect man. Not an innocent man. But a man trying.
Kelechi swallowed hard.
I did not know the difference between love and possession. I thought if I could protect you, provide for you, and keep you near me, then it was love.
Zecora's eyes softened.
You taught me I was wrong. Not by obeying me, by refusing to bow.
She looked away for a moment, fighting her own emotions.
Love cannot grow in a cage. It can only grow when both people are free.
I understand that now.
Zikora stood slowly. Kelechi stood too, but he did not move toward her. She looked at him and saw the difference. The old Kelechi would have reached for her. This one waited. That touched her more than any diamond necklace ever could.
I am not running into your arms.
I did not expect you to.
I am choosing slowly.
I will wait.
Do not make it sound too easy. I may still insult you sometimes.
I deserve more than sometimes.
Zikora almost smiled too.
Then she stepped closer and took his hand. Not because he owned her. Not because fear pushed her. Not because money bought her. Because she chose to. Kelechi looked down at their joined hands, and for a moment he could not speak. Zikora looked at him calmly.
We start again. Not as captor and captive. Not as billionaire and nurse. Not as a man who forced and a woman who feared.
Then as what?
As two wounded people trying to build something honest from the ruins.
Kelechi held her hand gently, like he finally understood that love was not something to grip until it bled. It was something to hold with care. Their story did not end with perfection. There were wounds that would still need time. There were memories that would still hurt. There were apologies that would have to be lived, not just spoken. But for the first time, the choice belonged to Zikora. And because the choice was hers, hope finally had room to breathe. Power had forced a wedding, but only change, patience, and truth could earn love.